Hi everyone, welcome back to Kejaya Decode with me Don.
My name is Kayan.
All right, so Kaya, I think this is our fifth episode so far of this
Yes.
podcast, and I think we've gotten quite a number of feedback from you listeners. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
listening to us, for subscribing to us. So maybe you want to take us through some of the feedback you've gotten.
Sure,
you know?
sure. Especially particularly for episode 3, so I received many positive feedbacks. Actually, mainly on the topic itself, on a friend in work, at work, toxic workplace. So I think the demand from our listeners or subscribers is to have more of this contents in the future. I think both of us. I think we also spoke about this, and we want to actually hire. We want to invite a guest.
Yeah.
To come over and speak about things like this, and someone from HR maybe.
Yep.
That can help us.
So we are currently working on that. Same like Kayan as well. So I received feedback about the episode. I think a lot of people can relate to the toxic workplace. So definitely, there's something that we look at. How can we invite a guest to come in, and we can explore this further. At least with someone who knows it better and expert in that level, so that hopefully that sharing can be beneficial for everyone. Right.
Sure.
So in this episode, episode 5, we would like to talk about one topic that perhaps may be of interest of you. It's about pivoting your career. Now, when we talk about pivot your career, what do you understand by pivot your career?
So I believe that if you are doing something work A, if you want to change to work B or work C,
Yes,
so that is
correct.
pivoting.
So pivoting in the sense that we are not looking about staying in the same industry, but even pivoting your career from doing something, what you're doing maybe for years, for decades, to something totally different, like podcasting.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So this is totally new. It's a pivot, right? In the sense that we are not podcasters as well. But I think there are a lot of people out there, especially like friends, that I can understand where you're kind of a bit stuck. You feel a bit stuck, in this job, in this industry. You feel that you're not going anywhere. Perhaps maybe you should be exploring to pivot your career.
Yeah.
And there's a few interesting things that I've gone through on some research, and a lot of people may not realize this, but they have a lot of transferable skills. And it's not on the soft skills. You talk about negotiation, stakeholder management. It's not that. But a lot of the things that you do at work, your processes, is actually transferable. So, one of the key things that we want to talk about maybe in this episode and coming episode is pretty much areas where you can pivot your career to if you're not in the industry already, right?
Yeah.
So, Kayan, you want to talk
Sure.
about,
Sure.
one of the areas that we can pivot to?
Sure. So I've done some pivoting myself. I'm sure you've done it as well, Don. So maybe just give a bit of background. I studied accounting, right? So I wanted to do auditing. But when I went to this Big Four firm, I was offered this IT audit or IT advisory job role. So I took on that. So instead of doing something that I always wanted to do, accounting, I did audit, especially on IT. After that, after 5 years in the audit firm, I actually did risk management. So it's a pivot itself, right? So from audit to risk management and to enterprise risk management, meaning it's not just IT, but everything under the insurance industry. So it's very special. It's very good to pivot your career. Yeah.
And I think talk about the story of pivoting. How it's quite interesting how we landed now in the same industry is because I started my career pretty much in the banking area, but was doing customer service, a contact center, and then I moved to do business development with a local GLC. Then I ended up in corporate planning, strategy, and this is very interesting because I've been pivoting my job role or pivoting my companies throughout my career, and I actually found it quite enriching because where I am right now today, I'm actually utilizing all the experiences and the skill sets that I picked up along the way. So I believe that my unique offering is mainly thanks to my pivoting as well. So since both of us landed up in insurance, I think today we want to explore the topic that for those of you who are not in the insurance or Takafu line, it is quite an interesting line to be in, and I think we want to share some of our insights to introduce you about this industry, and hopefully maybe that you can find something in this industry that may suit you as well.
Sure. Let me take on from there. So insurance is not a popular career choice, right? So when you go back to school, when you talk to the school children or uni students, right? So they normally don't consider insurance as a career normally, right? It wouldn't be in their top 10 list of career. So I'm sure it's the same for you as well, Don. So just let me give you two advantages, or two benefits to be in the insurance industry. Number one, I think insurance is the engine of the economy. Why I say so is because in the insurance industry, there are so many professions in the industry. So, for example, actuaries, right, mathematicians, doctors, nurses, architects, engineers, lawyers, accountants. So, all these professions are actually in the actually industry and actually helping to drive the industry to move forward. And then the second one, I think is the best one, is very resilient towards economic downturn. So in the recent COVID-19 pandemic, I don't think any of us have been laid off. I mean, if got also, I don't think there are many. I don't think there are many salary cuts during COVID, and it's basically very resilient towards economic downturn. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's quite true, and I think there are two parts of it that I want to touch as well. So insurance industry, right, hires people from different backgrounds now. I think there is a shift from in terms of how things are being done today and how it's going to be like. So if you're someone who's very good at data science, pretty much very good in data, very much in the data space, insurance companies will hire you, both life and general. If you're good at business process re-engineering, there is a space for you because a lot of it is moving towards the digital space, the AI space. So it's an exciting area to be in. But to address to our friends who are actually actuaries. Now, actuaries, listen out there, right? I mean, in insurance companies, it's not about becoming an AA alone. There are plenty of job options within the insurance space that you can actually grow and utilize your actuary background or even expertise, right? I mean, like for example, risk management. I mean,
exactly. So actuaries can work with many departments. So one of the example is risk management. So risk management is a popular, or maybe not popular, it's a required function in all financial institutions. So it's actually in one of our Bank Negara requirement.
It's popular in the hiring space right now because there's a lot of openings for risk, right?
It is. It's very popular. And when you open your job street or your LinkedIn, you can see roles on chief risk officers, head of risk management, or senior manager or manager positions. Why this happened is because I think if you listen back to our previous episodes, there's so many people actually leave the industry for to Singapore or whatever, right? So many vacancies. I think risk management is a good path if you consider that to for your career, and the reason is because risk management is all about logic. So one example is, for example, if you're doing operational risk, meaning you're trying to reduce the risks in that particular process. So it's all about logic and the knowledge of the business itself. So it's nothing very complicated and it's very learnable. And so for myself, when I left the Big Four firm, when I joined the insurance industry to do risk management, it's a bit hard in the beginning, but it's not very difficult to pick up on all those skills.
And I think for a lot of you, maybe the non-actuaries will be asking, I mean, like, how can I get to risk management? My background is not from risk, nor even from a technical part. I was a risk manager before, right? Operational risk manager long ago, before risk management was even a thing. And I can tell you this, right? No matter which area you are in, so long as you understand the process as well, you are already qualified to be a risk manager. For example, let's say someone from claims, right? Let's say I have a long experience in claims. I do not have knowledge in everything else. I think risk management is also one area you can pivot to because you have a wealth of knowledge about the process. You know where are the fault lines, where are the potential areas to go wrong, and you actually know how to fix it. So as a risk manager, those insights are important. And, it's something that you can actually take up courses to learn to be a qualified risk manager. So I think it is a really, really a very good space to be in, regardless of what your background. And I think you can do well if you actually have the right attitude to it about what you call it, number one, problem solving.
Yep.
And number two, how do you turn risk into opportunities? Because I think that's one of the important skill set that risk managers need to have. It's not talking about risk alone,
Yep.
but what opportunities can you derive from this risk? Because it's normally correlated.
Yes, I think the main purpose of risk management, I'm sure you also know, Don, is to improve decision making. That is the main goal of risk management. How do we do that? We have tools like the risk registers and RCSAs and so on. So maybe let me go to the next career path. Maybe it's on underwriting. Right, underwriting is, I think it's quite unique to the insurance industry. I think no other industry have that. So let me explain a bit on underwriting. Underwriters are actually the risk assessors, meaning they assess risk of the customers. So, for example, if you have a car insurance, the risk of accidents. If you have a health insurance, the risk of getting sick. If life insurance, the risk of death, right? So, how they do the assessment is, for example, for historical data, they can get your medical records, they can get your accident records. Maybe apart from that, they can get your age, your sex, and your car model for vehicle insurance. So based on all this data they have, they can either approve your policy, they can also increase the premium that they're supposed to charge you because the risk is a bit high, or they can totally reject you or decline you because they think that the risk is too high to be accepted. So it's very interesting as well, underwriting department.
I would like to ask you a question. I think this is quite a popular question, maybe in some underwriters' minds, or even maybe, as we talk about this topic among friends, is that we know that AI is coming in, and there are a lot of developments in a slightly more matured economies in where the underwriting function now is automated, is taken over by machines.
Yeah.
And now with AI, it has made even underwriting even more easier to be automated. So don't you think so that is something that is going to be making like underwriting not so important for humans maybe in the coming future?
So not really. So AI can help. AI automation can help to deal with simple cases. So for example, those normal, let's say motor insurance, let's say the normal vehicle, let's say you Proton Saga, you're driving for 5 years. So all this very easy. It's automated, everything go through, they tell you the premium price, and jalan, they will approve. But let's say if it's a bit complicated, like for example, antique cars or cars with many accidents before, so those require human judgment, then the underwriters will be there to assist.
But right? See, this judgment thing also comes from experience, which are years and years of looking at similar cases. Don't you think so that's actually the value add of AI? Because like, for example, an AI can actually take all these multiple data points. I'm going to take something more complex,
Sure.
like underwriting a fire risk for, say, a warehouse. So that requires really human judgment because it's not only the building itself, it's also about the business that the client is in. So the environment is located. So all these factors, and it's actually ripe for AI to be in.
Yes.
Right, because AI is able to automate that based on their machine learning and with the huge data points that they have. So don't you think so that this is like, it's a sunset area for humans?
It will not, again, for rule-based criteria, for example, like you say, the vehicle age and so on, yes, those AI or machine learning or automation can help you. But those areas that require critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making, so all this cannot be replaced by AI as of now. Maybe in the future, 10 years later, I'm not sure. But as of now, human brain is still required to do all this approving and so on,
so
studying.
I think that is pretty much still open for judgment in terms of AI. But so then it comes to this question, I think that maybe it's commonly talked about, especially for people like us, which is in industry. Do you see the insurance industry moving more towards automation and AI based and less people?
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
so does it mean it's a threat to our jobs?
It is a threat to jobs that are routine and rule-based.
Such as,
let's, for example, if you are on the front desk helping customers to fill up the details to buy policies, that you might, your job might be affected, might be threatened. But if you are, for example, let's say an underwriter, like what we mentioned just now, yes, some parts of it may be taken over by systems and automation, but you will still require human mind and brain to do it.
how about claims department?
Same thing. So there are certain rules that you can put in claims, right? But eventually you still need a human to decide on certain criteria that is not able to be done by AI.
So in the mean, what you're trying to say is kind of like, so like for example, for someone who is in claims department, you may be doing less and less basic claims,
Yes.
but you'll be handling more complex claims.
Yes.
So that means actually you need to be able to upskill yourself to be a level to so-called
Exactly.
judge a more complex case, right? A more complex claim
Exactly.
in order to survive in the future.
Exactly.
And we're talking about this maybe about
Next-
5 to 10 years kind of
5 to 10
horizon, next
years.
decade.
Yes.
So I think there are a lot of friends who may be in claims or in this processing line. What would be your thing that your thought, or how to safeguard their roles? I mean, like in the advent of all these technological
So
advancements.
if you are still studying or you have worked in the insurance industry before or currently, what you need to do is to self-learn and improve yourself, especially in terms of data analytics, if you can, cybersecurity, or programming. So these are the few skills that you need to have, because AI is just AI. You have to train the AI. So humans are still required to train the AI model, right? AI cannot learn on its own. You have to train it. You have to supply it with data to train the AI. So human intervention is still needed. But for example, let's say you have 10 person in claims department. Maybe in the future only 5, right? So, and these 5 people, maybe some of them are trained to work with the AI. So I believe in machine and human collaboration, where AI do the analyzation of the data, and the human side do the decision making and the critical thinking part, problem solving part. So that is the way moving forward.
I feel that that's also one of my ideas of probably how a future will look like as well, where it's a human AI. I would say it's not collaboration; it's more of like it's a teamwork, where it's how we use computers or even calculators. But there are certain areas in the insurance space that may be sunset as well, right? So it's not all
Definitely.
to say that has a bright future. Risk management is still pretty much a bright future. I think people who are maybe, let's say you are in certain areas that you feel a bit shaky in terms of long-term prospects, maybe you want to explore risk management, how to get to risk management, because your skills and experience will be definitely beneficial. in that
Definitely,
area, right?
definitely.
Yeah. Then another area of insurance, or even now Takafu, which I think a lot of people want to avoid to talk about, is actually becoming an agent.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Do you know that, Kayan, if I know what I know today, if I knew what I know today when I was a fresh graduate, I would have been an agent.
So there's a negative mindset when you meet. So let's say your friend becomes an insurance agent. You try to avoid this person as much as possible, because this person will try to sell you insurance, right? So that is a negative perception about insurance
But
agents.
it's not about the external negative perception. But a lot of people are hesitant to be an agent because of same doubts and everything. And I figure out one problem why, Kayan. So I think a lot of you out there, if you're not an agent, right? You may think that actually the insurance agent job or career is one of the most challenging because you get rejected every time. I can say most of the job involves rejection. And, you have to really be really brave to go and approach people, to pitch to them again and again. And I feel that challenge or that mental block comes from the space where, because you look at it as a job, Kayan, I think people looks at it as a job, as a career. That's why it becomes a hurdle. But if you turn it around, if you look at it as a business, do you know that this is actually one of the business that's able to get you started? I'll tell you why. Now, if you want to set up a cafe, if you want to set up a food stall, a food truck, what do you need, Kayan? You need capital, right?
Yep.
You need money. How much money do you need? Is 10,000 ringgit enough?
Nope.
Is
a few 100,000 just to set up a cafe.
Right, a few 100,000, right? Is 5,000 ringgit enough?
Cafe?
Capital.
No.
Right. So the beauty of the insurance or the Takaful agent business, if you look at it as a business, it's actually very low capital. What capital do you need?
Human capital.
No, you need some capital to at least maybe buy coffee, teh tarik with your client. That's your capital. That's all your capital. It's your time. You go and learn about the product training. Literally, your one-man business, you don't have stocks, you got no inventory, so you don't have to worry about clearing your stocks. You don't have to rent the space for your business. And do you know that most of the problems about cafes or any business is location?
Yeah.
But if you are a Takaful or an insurance agent, your business has no geographical limitation. Right? You can sell to anyone from between KL all the way down to Perlis, Johor, East, West, anywhere.
Yeah.
So the moment you start looking at it from a perspective of this is a business venture where I don't need any capital. I can sell anywhere.
Yeah.
And it suddenly becomes like a bit more easier to swallow. And I'll tell you why, right? And you think that business is but Don, insurance, you get rejected. Have you ever done any business before that? If you have done any business, Kayan, do you know that rejection is kind of common? Trying to catch your first client for anything.
It's common.
right? So a lot of people forget that. But why? Because the rewards are good in business, right? Like the rejections after a while becomes you forget about it. But because you invested so much, 100K on your food truck, you're willing to go to every office space, put a brochure, flyer, say that come and visit a food truck at lunchtime. But it's the same thing with being an insurance agent as well, or a Takaful agent. It's a low capital, it's almost a zero capital business that you to be in. You just have to just pull through for your business lah. And I can tell you the rewards are great. Like I said earlier, the statement I made, if I knew what I knew today when I was a fresh graduate, I'll be an insurance agent because your income will actually double, triple. And I can tell you, most of people give up in the first year. That's why there are a lot of people who are not successful. But if you talk to the successful ones out there, they have a lot of methods. So I would say that, this is one area that if many of you are trapped in a traditional 9 to 5 job and is looking to be a business person, businessman, businesswoman, try to explore insurance or Takaful, sales agent, as a starting point of business. Number one is legit. You're not doing anything illegal.
Yep.
And I feel that this is the most important part of a sales or of insurance agent, which I feel is a very meaningful job. Right? I've been in this industry, Kayan, before in this general insurance space. I was in life insurance. And you can ask any agent that has been in industry quite some time, has been doing this successfully. There's nothing more meaningful than handing over the benefits check to the family of your policyholder that has passed away. And if you have gone through the experience or if you have experienced it, I can tell you that will tell you why your job is important. So actually for to be an insurance agent out there, actually it's a very noble business to be in, right? And I feel that the more you learn about it, the more you see how noble it is, you after a while you won't do it for money. You're doing it because you want to save lives. So I feel that, if anyone who feels that they want to start a business, don't know what business to be in, consider that, right? Perhaps me being an insurance or Takaful agent, we are not going to be promoting any companies here. I feel that that's something up to you. All the companies has the same purpose: protecting lives, protecting Malaysian lives, and preventing people from being uber poor because they have no income. So I think that's one area that you should consider, but try to have a different mindset about it.
So I've my insurance agent, when I know that person, when I buy a policy from that person, she was driving a Kalisa. Now she's driving a Merc. So you can imagine, the amount of income that she has earned over the years. So I think when I talk to other people, the main worry from them is if they cannot sell. I mean, normally the first year, second year, if you're not determined or because some people they cannot just go out and just talk to people. Some of them are very introvert. What do you advise to this type of people?
I feel that my advice, or I've seen this in real life as well. There are people that I know, and their parents, right? Basically, their parents started off during the Asian financial crisis where people lose their jobs. They become an insurance agent because your back is pushed at the wall, right? Suddenly you have no shame, you have nothing. You just go through it. I think the key thing is sometimes we have too much ego and pride in ourselves that we cannot think no and answer. But do you know that in many insurance companies now, if you join as an insurance agent, there are ways for you to manage rejection, to turn around that rejection, maybe a prospect that rejected you today, maybe your customer tomorrow. So there are many methods that, different companies are actually teaching out there. So I don't think so this is an issue. I think number one is mindset. You have to remove away the mindset of fear. And to be a business person, you must not have fear. Right, be it selling nasi lemak, being operating a large company, to even selling insurance. It is a business. So if you're a business person, do you have fear? So I think number one is move away from the part that it's a job. It's not. It's being a business. So when you do a business with no capital, do you think the challenge is worth it? I feel that it's worth it, man. I don't have to fork out 100K. I don't have to have a warehouse. I don't have to worry about stocks. Right? It's even better than doing drop shipping, guys.
Yes.
I mean, if you do drop shipping, for example, if you sell Bulan Bintang, you only have business during Raya. But if you sell Takaful or insurance, your business is all year round. Right? Yes, it's up to you how rajin you are to look for.
And you don't have to bring in debt to buy to rent the place and everything.
Yeah.
So know that. That means if let's say after the second year you decided not to become an agent, right? You can just cut off. Just start all
But
over again.
I can tell most people, like, the ones that I know, first year is challenging, second year is challenging. But if you can survive for 2 years first with low commissions, the snowball effect will make it worth it for the third and fourth year. I have this formula, but I'll save that for another episode because
Sure.
you guys are in luck because I have a friend who is a successful insurance leader. Perhaps maybe I'll try to get him to one of maybe next season's episodes where he can share more about this interesting career of being an insurance agent. And maybe that can be someone's inspiration out there. That maybe if you feel that the 9 to 5 job is not for you, a lot of businesses may be a bit difficult because of capital requirements. We understand, and this is quite an easy business to start off. Right?
Sure. I mean, this is one of the option you can consider. I think insurance agent in the future for the next 10, 20 years, they will still be there.
Yeah, I feel that it's the same thing.
Still be
No
there.
matter how technology advances, the normal insurance that doesn't add value will disappear.
Yes.
But an insurance agent that starts to add value, that becomes an advisor in the true sense, and with the right knowledge and the right recommendation, I think that will continue to survive and thrive in the coming decades.
And you do not restrict it to any business classes. So, for example, you are an agent selling motor insurance. Yes, I know if you buy from the insurance directly, you get a discount, right? But during an accident, so the agent needs to be very proactive to help the customer. So with that, the customer will feel very appreciative and will continue to buy from you every year.
Yeah, so I think we have covered the insurance topic as one of
pretty
the
much.
pivoting. I think my message to you guys out there is that do look at insurance in a different light. We are not out there to scam your money. we are literally protecting you because the uncertainties that we have in life. Insurance is one of the tools that you should leverage in order to mitigate those risks. So it all comes back to risk management as well.
Exactly.
Right, that's a whole wrap. So I guess that's it for our episode today.
Yeah, and do not reject or do not refuse to meet up with your insurance
Yes,
friends,
I agree.
insurance
At least
agents
listen
friends.
out to them. Listen first before
Listen
you
to
make a
them.
decision, right? Yeah.
If you choose to reject them after listening, then it's fine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Still can be friends after that.
Yeah, make sure give them a chance, the industry needs them as
All right.
well. Yeah.
So, should
So
end
yeah, that's it.
this episode. Okay, thank you.
So thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Goodbye.